Alright, in this next one, what we're going to get in the habit of doing is making sets of parentheses. They do not have a greatest common factor, so we're ready to make these sets of parentheses. Because this is only an n squared, we know we need an n and an n. We're going to write down the factors of 20 for a while. Some of you will move away from this, which is fine, but for the notes purposes, I'll be writing the factors of 20 off to the side. I'm looking for factors of 20 that will give me 21. Now, these, if you add them, you get 9. If you subtract them, you get 1. You add them, you get 12. You subtract them, you get 8. You add them, you get 21. Those are the ones I'm looking for. I need a 20n and a 1n, which would give me a 21n, so I will be adding those together. If I would have put 4 and 5 in here, I only get a 4n and a 5n, which would have given me a 9n. That wouldn't have worked. This next example, I know there's no greatest common factor again. I need an n squared, so I'm going to put an n and an n. You'll just get in this habit of making these parentheses. Writing down the factors of 30 would be 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. I need ones that add up to 13. Well, I'm going to try 5 and 6 first, just so you can see me not get it right, because that will give me 5n and this will give me 6n. Those do not give me a total of 13, so I know I don't have them correct. It's going to be really important that we have pencils that we're working with so we can erase things quickly and try something else. I'm going to try 3 and 10 now. 3 gives me 3n and 10 gives me 10n, so that is 13. I do want a positive 13, so I will put plus signs in front of both of those. The next one, the signs start to change here. I've always had positive in there, and now I have a minus sign in here. I'm still going to look for factors of 25, which there are only 2 sets. 1 and 25 is not going to give me a 10. So I'm going to place 5 and 5 in here. Now, if you look at this a little bit more closely, I do get a 5m and a 5m, but I need a negative 10. In order to get negative 10, I'd have to have a negative 5 and a negative 5. Negative 5 plus negative 5 gives me a negative 10. Why is it okay to put 2 minus signs in here when you have a positive back here? When you were foiling this, you'd have a negative 5 times a negative 5, which would give you a positive 25. So if you have a positive following back here, okay, you know that you either have to put positive, like on the previous ones. Let me go back to one. So this had a positive sign, so I have positive, or I have negative, because a positive times a positive gives me a positive, or a negative times a negative gives me a positive. How do you know which one? Well, that comes from this sign right here. On this one, since the last part was positive, I knew it had to be a positive or a negative, but it ended up being a positive because I had a plus sign. I needed a positive 13. Where this one, I needed a negative 10, so I knew I needed a negative, so I could get a positive product, but a negative sum. We can talk about that more. The next one we're going to talk about would be this. So we'll write down our x and our x. We'll write down our factors of 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. I do need either a positive or a negative because of this plus 18. I need a positive product, but I know I need a negative sum, so I know I'm going to have to put minus in. I need a negative 11, so I'm going to put a 2 and 9 because I know that gives me 11. That's 2x and 9x, and I would put negatives on both of those, so I get my negative 11. One more of this type, and then we'll have a different look with some different signs in between here. So I've got 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. The one that gives me 15 happens to be 3 and 12. I need a minus because I need a 3m and a 12m. And I need a negative 15. So the only way I'm going to get the negative 15 is by having a negative 3 and a negative 12.